I need a new barber. You see, when we moved here, I hunted around for a new place to get a haircut. For a while we went to the big Regis stylist in the mall, but there were two problems. First, they're a bit on the spendy side. I mean, $35 for a cut seems to me to be a bit much when I only have half a head of hair. Secondly, it was clear from the posters and the music and the little 20-something stylist that I was really outside of their target demographic. So I hunted around and I found a little barber shop in the corner, or actually at the top of the hill. On that corner, there are actually two stylists. There's another Regis salon and a little independent place. Now, when I walked by, I noticed a couple of things. First, the Regis had nobody in it. There was one stylist reading a magazine at the front desk. The place next to it had 4 chairs working and 6 people in line waiting. This was a good sign. Second, it had the words barber shop in the name of the place. It even had a real motorized lighted barber pole right out front. Well, I knew which place I was going. It turned out it was run by an old guy that had been a barber for like 40 years. He did a good haircut that cost $15. He also only hired experienced barbers to work in his shop. These were all good things. So I started going there, and this went on for a good long while. Then one day I went in and the old guy was gone. He'd finally retired and turned the shop over to the barbers he'd brought in. I kept going there and all was well for a while. Then about this time last year, I went in and noticed that only one of the old guys was still there. Younger stylists just out of school were running most of the chairs now. The haircut it just wasn't as good as usual, but I figured it was a one-time thing. Everybody's entitled to a bad day now and then. Then about 6 months ago, I went in again. Yes, I get my haircut twice a year. I don't have that much, so I can go a long time between cuts. It's one of the advantages of getting old. Anyway, none of the old guys were left. This should have been a warning sign. Also, I was able to walk right in and get my cut. There was nobody waiting in line. In fact, there was nobody in any of the chairs either. This too should have been a warning sign. But I figured, what the heck, I was there, let's do it. Not the brightest move I've ever made. Now, usually when I get a haircut, my wife immediately notices and she says something complimentary about it. In this case, I got home, she looked at me and started talking about what Geiger the cat had done. I mentioned to her that I'd gotten a haircut and her reply was, "Yeah, I noticed." When I finally asked her how it looked, she paused and then replied, "Oh, yeah, it looks fine. Oh, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom." And she cut out of there down the hall. Now, you have to understand, being a guy, I only heard the words, "it looks fine," and figured the laughter coming from down the hall was because the cat had done something funny. Even that night when I looked in the mirror, I thought my hair looked great. Truthfully, the haircut looked okay from directly in front. A week or so later, I happened to look in the mirror and turn my head to the side. It was only then I noticed what it really looked like. I'd gotten the toupee cut. This is when the haircut is styled perfectly on the back, the front, and the sides. However, on top, the hair's cut a little too short, so it sticks out horizontally. Truthfully, I looked like a roadkill mouse had taken up residence on top of my head. It was then I realized that the people at the various offices I visited that grinned and said, "Haha, nice haircut there." might not have been sincere. Thinking back, perhaps, well, thanks, I just got it done, was not necessarily the right answer. Of course, the laughing should have been a giveaway, but as I mentioned, I'm a guy and we don't pick up on subtle things like that very well. You remember the story of the Emperor's new clothes? It's not the Empress's new clothes, because only a guy would fall for that. So I've been wearing hats a lot the last few months. I'm finally to a point where I can look at getting my hair cut again and fixing this. The trouble is that I need to find another barber. Someplace with an old guy, people waiting to get in, and a real lighted motorized barber pole out front. Trouble is, they're getting real hard to find.